Ohayo gozaimasu, mes amis. Good morning. What? Good morning. Merci beaucoup. Dankeschön. Domo arigatou gozaimashite. We're going to do some music, which means I'm going to do some music with you. So there's a line that I say, which is hold on, and then you answer me back. Do you want to try it, rehearse it, or do you just want to do it? That's, again, where's the enthusiasm? You want to do it? All right. Time to keep your eyes on the prize, a song from the Civil Rights Movement. If you get a chance, listen to the Mavis Staples. The Mavis Staples version of it. Incredible. Paul and Cyrus are bound in jail, got no money for the pay their bail. Keep your eyes on the prize, hold on. Here it comes. Hold on, hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize, hold on. Hold on, hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize, hold on. Not bad. Paul and Cyrus began to shout, doors banged open and they all walked out. Keep your eyes on the prize, hold on. Hold on, hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize, hold on. The only chains that we can stand are the chains of hand in hand. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Got my hand on the freedom plow. Won't take nothing from my journey now. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
Thanks, Dean. Thanks, everybody, for arriving with some energy. Good morning. It's so good to see each and every one of you. My name is Jen Crow. I use she and her pronouns, and it is a joy and a privilege to serve as the senior minister here. And welcome to everybody joining us online. Welcome to everybody joining us in person. It is so very good to be together. It's good to get to lead worship today with Reverend Laura Smidzik, with our guest musician, Dean McGraw, who is already lighting us up. We're so grateful. We are grateful, as always, to John and Olu, who make all the tech work, who help keep us connected across the miles. And right here in the sanctuary, we're grateful for all the artists who make this space beautiful, for everyone tending this community. It is so important. We build this community together. And we are continuing to send our love and good wishes to Dr. Glenn Thomas Rideout, who is working a reduced schedule after being out for an illness. We look forward to welcoming him back in worship on November 23rd. So a couple more weeks to go. So thank you for showing up today, for showing up for love, for showing up for hope, for showing up for connection and community. We create this faith community together, and it matters that each and every one of us, new and longtime member, are here together. In this place, in this community of faith, we lean into a universalist understanding of faith that names each and every one of us and all beings as whole and holy and worthy, as welcome and wanted, even as all of us have room to grow. Welcome to this community of a love that is so, I hope, irresistible and expansive that we cannot help but be transformed as individuals and as a community, as we build a beloved community where each and every person and being can thrive. In this month of November, we're focusing as a church on the spiritual practices of repair and justice and gratitude. Repair, justice, and gratitude. These practices form the ground of a sustainable resilience. They are practices that have sustained generations of people of faith before us and can sustain us now. Gratitude calls us to notice and name the good, the holy, the joyful, no matter what is going on around us or inside of us. Justice, as Dr. Cornell West teaches us, is what love looks like in public. It's what our faith looks like in action. And of course, repair. It's an ongoing practice that reminds us that no one of us is disposable, that breaking and mending are as natural as life itself. And in its practice, repair reminds us of the power that we do have to make things better in this world. The early 19th century Hasidic teacher, Rebbe Naaman of Breslov, put it like this: if you believe that you can damage, believe that you can fix. If you believe that you can harm, believe that you can heal. This is the power we have. Gratitude, justice, repair. Woven together, these practices can support and sustain us in hard times and help us to find our joy and be present in the cycle of life in all times. So this morning, I'm about to invite you to turn and greet one another, to extend the love and care that we have with each and every person here. And I'm going to invite you, as I often do, to make it your personal mission to make sure no one is excluded from this unless they want to be, which you get to be. If you want some quiet, that's just fine. But I hope that you will give it a shot, turn and greet your neighbors, say your name and your pronouns, and if you would say something about what is sustaining you these days. What is sustaining you? All right, let's do it.
apart. You know it wasn't written for you. Tell me how can you stand there with a broken heart, shaking. One thing can lead to another. Doesn't take any sacrifice. Oh, father and mother, sister and brother, if it feels nice, don't think twice. You just shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Sing with me if you want. Things are gonna be just fine if you only will. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna be much better if you only will. You can run, but you cannot hide. This is widely known. Tell me what you plan to do with your foolish pride when you're all by yourself alone. Once you tell somebody the way that you feel, you can feel it beginning to ease. I think it's true what they say about the squeaky wheel, always getting the grease. That tells you shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna work out better if you only will. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Again. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Gently now. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna be much better if you only will.
So appreciating the gentleness there. I'm going to invite us to take a couple of on-purpose breaths, to fully arrive to this place, to this moment, to remember that we can settle ourselves, our bodies and spirits, anytime. From this place, I invite us to join in saying our words for the lighting of the chalice together. These words that remind us what we're about and hold us together. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is a great covenant to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. And to help one another, right?
Help one another.
Super important. So, as we explore these spiritual practices of gratitude and repair and justice, I wanted to let you in on one of my gratitude practices. So, I don't know if this ever happens to you, but sometimes I have a hard time falling asleep at night. And sometimes it's because there are some things on repeat in my brain. And these things on repeat are rarely positive, right? There are things like, oh, I can't believe you said that. Oh, do you remember that thing you did 10 years ago that was terrible? Let's think about that a little bit. Maybe there's something I'm worried about going forward, and it'll just start going and going. And a friend of mine offered me a practice a while ago that has been very helpful to me, and I have nicknamed it the ABC gratitude practice. And what it is a challenge to myself to think of something that begins with each letter of the alphabet that I am grateful for. And it can take me some time to move through that, and if I'm still awake at the end of it, well, I just start over. No big deal, right? So I'm going to invite you to play this game with me. So I'm giving you a moment to maybe bring some things to mind that you're grateful for that maybe match up with one of the more less frequently used letters of the alphabet. And then we're going to see if we can do this together, the gratitude ABCs. So what I'm going to ask you to do is, when I say the letter, call out a word or two of something you're grateful for. I'll repeat it back, and then I'll let us know when we're moving to the next letter. Make sense? Okay, all right. A. Avocados and apples. B. Birds. Babies. C. Cats. And church. Thank you. Letter D. Dogs and what? Dads? D-A-D. I can't. Dad, father. Thank you. I'm like, I can't hear you. All right, letter E. Elephants and everything. F. Fathers and fun. G. Goats. I got and graham crackers. Goats and graham crackers. All right. Letter H. Hamsters and ham. Okay. I. Ice cream. Do we even need anything else for the letter I? Ice cream. Okay, letter J. Joy. And juggling. Yes, letter K. Kangaroos and koalas. Letter L. Love. And lions and llamas. Okay. M. Music. Muffins and mothers. Okay. Letter N. Noses. And nurses. Hallelujah. O. Letter O. Octopus and owls. Thank you. Letter P. Puppies and people. Letter Q. Quiet. And quilts. Letter R. Rainbows and rain. All right. R. S. Letter S. Solidarity. All right. T. Oh, this is toes. This is getting out of control. I like. Okay. Letter U. Unions. Let me just say a special gratitude for the Minneapolis teachers and EFTs and ESPs union this week. All right. All right, letter V, we're almost there. Violets and violins. And what? Victory. Okay. V, W. Wigs, clearly. And water. X. Xylophones. Y. Years. U. And Z. Zebras. What's it? And Zoe. Way to go, everybody. Gratitude ABCs. We made it all the way. I always feel like these practices are easier once you've done them once together, right? So now you can take that home with you. So it is a joy when we get to be all together here in community together. And it is good. We make time when we can be in spaces that are just right for each of us, for the different communities that are among us. Wherever we are growing in our spiritual lives, even when we are in different spaces, in different configurations. Now is the time when our children and youth and their amazing teachers and guides begin to make their way into the spaces that are made ready just for them. They are taking the light of our chalice flame with them, and I invite any of the children and youth and teachers who are making their way to their classes to follow the light and the flags, and we'll sing them on their way with This Little Light of Mine.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, where I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everything I do, everything I do, I'm gonna let it shine. Everything I do, I'm gonna let it shine. Everything I do, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Well, that was kind of a raucous morning so far. That was fun. I think I might do that at my Thanksgiving table. I love that. So let's settle in for a moment and join me in a moment of prayer or meditation as I read the words of Lynn Cox, Making Room for All That Is. Spirit of life, ancestor of the stars and the sun, you who embrace the vastness of space and us along with it, be with us today. Hold us in our worry and exhaustion, our grief. Keep us close as we sit with our truth, whatever that may be. Lead us to rest. That's weird, it's going in and out a little bit. Lead us to rest, find solace and renewal in this time of shifting light and dark.
I think you're okay.
Excellent. You whose arms open with the spinning galaxies, help us make room as you do for all that is. Open our hearts to our loved ones, our neighbors, the beings with whom we share this planet. Lead us to reach out to others in compassion. Turn us towards one another in mercy, right relationship, and reconciliation. You have seen the rising and settings of suns, of seasons, of civilizations. Remind us of all that we have learned from the history of the world and from our own histories. Give us the courage to face our mistakes and to repair them whenever possible. Help us understand our interdependence, our gravitational relationship with all of the other spinning lives around us, and lead us to treat those relationships with care. In this space filled with people among us who shine like stars, this space filled with the sparkle of love and care, we give thanks for this moment together. May our senses be open to the beauty of this day, this season, this world. Let's take a few moments to contemplate in silence. Each week we pause in this moment together to pray, however that shows up in your life. As a community, we often share words as a response to joys and sorrows that are among us and spoken out loud. After someone shares, we say, "You are not alone. We are holding it together." Here it comes. So please speak your joys and sorrows out loud by first introducing yourself, and then I will repeat that to the congregation and to those who are online. The circle is open.
I'm Susan. For my longtime and dear friend Kate, whose health is failing fast and hard.
Susan is lifting up her longtime friend who is struggling and whose health is failing quickly. You are not alone. We are holding it together. Dan's holding a family acquaintance who's recovering from gunshot wounds that they received just on Friday. You are not alone. We are holding it together. Holding families who cannot show up and children. Chosen family. Oh, you are not alone. We are holding it together. Thank you, Sarah. We are holding Doug Hicks and his wife, Susan. Doug has been in hospice for several weeks, and it sounds like he can no longer speak. You are not alone. We are holding it together. Lisa would like to hold up families who are struggling without their SNAP benefits. You are not alone. We are holding it together. Lifting up the family of Raleigh Little, who passed away last week. There is actually going to be a service here for Raleigh on Sunday, September 23rd at 2 p.m.
November 23rd.
Oh, sorry, what did I say? Whatever. Sunday, November 23rd at 2 p.m., so 2 weeks from today. You are not alone. We are holding it together. Jane Tavell also wrote to say that Liz Dunn, who was a member here, passed away in mid-October, and they'll be celebrating her life on Tuesday, November 11th at 2 o'clock at Edgecombe Presbyterian Church. You can contact me if you need to know more about that. You are not alone. We are holding it together. Sending prayers to those who are experiencing homelessness right now as the cold weather descends upon us. You are not alone. We are holding it together.
For the joy of being with 40 women yesterday at the AEW gathering, it was wonderful being together.
Carol lifts up the joy of being together with 40 women at the AUW retreat yesterday here at church. It was a joy to be together. You are not alone. We are holding it together. I see Robin McKenzie there. At the past service, she mentioned that this Wednesday at 7:10 at Unity Church Unitarian, there will be a vigil for around Palestine. Robin will be there and welcomes any of you to join her. Robin, do you want to just raise your hand for a sec so people can see who you are? You can talk to Robin after the service. There we go. She'll also follow up with some vigils here at our church, but this Wednesday is an opportunity. You are not alone. We are holding it together. I also want to invite those of you who are feeling the weight of being estranged from family members and friends in this world we are living in at this moment, that after the community dinner, there will be a group. They had one meeting last community dinner. It is open. So if that's something you want to connect with others on and kind of be able to be held in each other's stories, I encourage you to attend. You are not alone. We are holding it together.
Amelia, for this community, for lifting up all of my educator union siblings, and for the greater Minneapolis, for all of my educator union siblings, for the boldness that it took to get to the point that we are, and that I'm being proud that we don't have to go on strike. We're going to come out with some really good wins.
Amelia is holding up her colleagues and union reps and everyone who's been supporting them, because it appears that a strike will not have to happen and that they will get what they deserve. I want to hold up those in the congregation who were willing to run strike camp for as long as needed, and grateful that appears to not be needed.
I'm holding up a daycare teacher from my children's daycare who was illegally detained by ICE. We're trying to figure out how to help support them.
Holding up a daycare teacher in the school that her child attends who was detained by ICE, and they're trying to figure out how on earth to get them back. You are not alone. We are holding it together. Please rest in a moment of silence with me. For the many forms of grief that we experience at this time, grief of what's happening to our planet, to our country, to our world, and in our own individual life, with beloveds we cherish. Prayers for the joys that also accompany these griefs, joys of companionship, of new life, of new seasons. We hold this universal experience of being human tenderly, gratefully, and together. May it be so. Amen. Last week, Rev Jen shared that she went to Cub to pick up a pack of gift cards so that our communal love can be offered to families and individuals impacted by the withholding of SNAP benefits. I am pleased to announce that one of the families we were going to give cards to today wrote me last night to say that they did indeed receive their SNAP benefits. So it appears that Novembers have come. Still, we know that that's of little comfort in terms of the thought of moving forward and knowing what this current government is capable of. So today I'll have two things that you can know about in terms of giving. It is Give to the Max season. For those of you who are aware of Give to the Max, it's an organization that allows you a way to give to a number of different organizations, and they often have little surprise extra gifts on different days when folks give. So that's one. And then the other is Joyce Food Shelf. Every Monday I attend a Circle of Peace in St. Paul with my mom. The circle includes high school kids, people from the historic Rondo neighborhood, broader community members, and people affiliated with Unity Church Unitarian. Every couple of years, we have the question posed to the group, which is, have you ever been hungry? And in the group, we pass a stone. It goes all the way around the room, and people share stories. And what I've heard as leaning into other people's stories is the realities of people's childhood, of other stages of life, and of their current lives related to food and hunger. 1 in 8 families in America experiences food insecurity. So as we love and support one another here, we are also holding neighbors who are impacted by the reality of food insecurity, by rising grocery costs. We all know what that looks like. And by realizing that there's not enough funds to cover what is needed. We do collect canned donations in the hallway and the stairs leading down to the entryway on the DuPont side of the building, but monetary donations allowed food shelves to purchase the exact kind of foods that they know folks need in bulk. Cash gifts provide places like Joyce Uptown Food Shelf the flexibility they need to run as efficiently as possible in order to provide hunger relief. We know these are extraordinary times. Food shelves are being flooded, and those of us who can help financially in any way can make a real difference. Will the ushers please come forward?
Our reading this morning comes from the poet Joy Harjo. Joy Harjo is a member of the Muskogee Creek Nation and was appointed as the U.S. Poet Laureate back in 2019. This poem is called "For Calling the Spirit Back from Wandering the Earth in Its Human Feet." Put down that bag of potato chips, that white bread, that bottle of pop. Turn off that cell phone, computer, and remote control. Open the door, then close it behind you. Take a breath offered by the friendly winds. They travel the earth, gathering essences of plants to clean. Give it back with gratitude. If you sing, it will give your spirit lift to fly to the stars' ear and back. Acknowledge the earth who has cared for you since you were a dream planting itself precisely within your parents' desire. Let your moccasin feet take you to the encampment of the guardians who have known you before time, who will be there after time. They sit before the fire that has been there without time. Let the earth stabilize your post-colonial insecure jitters. Be respectful of the small insects, birds, and animal people who accompany you. Ask their forgiveness for the harm we humans have brought down upon them. Don't worry. The heart knows the way, though there may be high-rises, interstates, checkpoints, armed soldiers, massacres, wars, and those who will despise you because they despise themselves. The journey might take you a few hours, a day, a year, a few years, 100, 1,000, or even more. Watch your mind. Without training, it might run away and leave your heart for the immense human feast set by the thieves of time. Do not hold regrets. When you find your way to the circle, to the fire kept burning by the keepers of your soul, you will be welcomed. You must clean yourself with cedar, sage, or other healing plant. Cut the ties you have to failure and shame. Let go the pain you are holding in your mind, your shoulders, your heart, all the way to your feet. Let go the pain of your ancestors to make way for those who are heading in our direction. Ask for forgiveness. Call upon the help of those who love you. These helpers take many forms: animal, element, bird, angel, saint, stone, or ancestor. Call your spirit back. It may be caught in corners and creases of shame, judgment, and human abuse. You must call in a way that your spirit will want to return. Speak to it as you would to a beloved child. Welcome your spirit back from its wandering. It may return in pieces, in tatters. Gather them together. They will be happy to be found after being lost for so long. Your spirit will need to sleep a while after it is bathed and given clean clothes. Now you can have a party. Invite everyone you know who loves and supports you. Keep room for those who have no place else to go. Make a giveaway, and remember, keep the speeches short. Then you must do this. Help the next person find their way through the dark. It was just a couple of weeks ago, on Friday, October 31st, that a small group of Franciscan sisters in Wisconsin made history. They became the first Catholic institution to return land to a tribal nation in the name of reparations for colonialism and residential boarding schools. That's right. Right? The sisters, the Franciscan Sisters of Perpetual Adoration. They sold their spirituality center, the Marywood Franciscan Spirituality Center on Trout Lake, not all that far from here. Appraised at $2.6 million, the sisters sold it for the same price they paid for it in 1966, $30,000. And they sold it to the Lac du Flambeau Band of Lake Superior Chippewa Indians, right? The president of the order of that congregation, Sister Sue Ernster, said this about it. There's some pretty strong emotions of letting go, of course, because people have had really good memories and experiences here. But it's not only the letting go, there's also the rejoicing for us. Rejoicing of how we can break the system that created the trauma and the division between us and the original caretakers of the land. There's rejoicing, there's gratitude, there's repair, there's justice. This land return was years in the making, 183 years if you start the story when the land was first stolen from the Lac du Flambeau Band through a treaty signed in 1842 that courts who looked at it 100 years later saw the treaty and deemed it so unfair as to be unconscionable. But for the Sisters of Perpetual Adoration, their understanding of their story of their complicated relationship with their indigenous siblings and neighbors really only began to get filled in a few years ago. It was only 2020 when the sisters learned that something that they had previously thought of as a source of pride, a Native American boarding school that they had operated for nearly 90 years in northern Wisconsin, was in fact a place of trauma, a place of heartache for the generations of Native children, of families that had been impacted. The sisters learned this, and it was, I believe, their commitment to live out their faith, to care for and acknowledge their interdependence with all people and the earth across the generations, that led them to push aside the ways of being that are kind of standard for us in the US. Ways of being where we say, well, it wasn't me. I didn't do it. It wasn't my ancestors. I'm not responsible. And instead, they took up what I believe is the reality of our interdependence, of our shared existence. We are responsible for repairing harm done to one another. We are all responsible for repairing harm done to one another. So the sisters took up the work. They kept on learning. In 2022, they began working with an organization called Land Justice Futures. It's an organization that helps folks change the way they think about land ownership. And the sisters learned about the generations of broken relationships and broken treaties, of traumas and the heartbreaking history that they, in their history, had been a part of. They recognized the damage that had been done and was still being done, not only to those whom the land was stolen from, but to themselves too, as they participated in this system. They realized the ways that complicity with injustice, present and historic, was weighing them down. The ways that they too were trapped inside these ways of believing and acting that were killing them too. And instead of pushing aside the discomfort that they were feeling, they began to use it as a guide. I think about the words of Dr. Martin Luther King when he reminded us that there are some things to which we should always be maladjusted, some things to which we should never feel comfortable with. And I think about these sisters and the discomfort they were feeling as they were learning their history and learning about complicity, and they allowed that discomfort to guide them into relationship into repair, into healing. As they finished up the 2-year curriculum with Land Justice Futures, they realized that others would be better caretakers of the land that they held than they could. And then with humility, and I'm sure with imperfection, because we are humans, they reached out. They reached out and asked if members of the Lac du Flambeau tribe would be interested in having a conversation together. One of the sisters says, there was a lot of vulnerability on both sides in that moment, to dialogue with each other without having a positive, strong history together. But they did it. And as the relationships between the sisters and the members of the tribe developed, new ways of doing things emerged between them. New ways of doing things grounded in deep faith, ways of doing things that stepped outside of the containers that had been set for years. New patterns that recognize the ecological and social harm that is done when we do things kind of business as usual here in the US. They decided they could, in fact, step outside of generational patterns of broken relationships and treaties and traumas. The co-director of the Land Justice Futures Project said this: these two groups together stepped into a process of transitioning land and putting relationships first. We're not taught to do it, she said, and it's not the history we've inherited. It's just not the way the world works. But last Friday, 2 Fridays ago, it was the way the world works. It can be the way the world works. Putting relationships first, seeking to repair the damage done by years and years of harm. It can be the way that the world works. It was moral imagination grounded in generations of spiritual practice that led these groups to be able to imagine a new way, to step outside of the containers of how things are done around here that were set for them and imagine something more complicated, something more life-giving, something more life-sustaining, something more generative than had been in place before. Their practice and the authentic relationships they were able to develop together across difference, the sisters and the members of the Lac du Flambeau tribe, authentic relationships grounded in vulnerability and listening and care. That is what invited them to step outside of the patterns that had been laid for them and into something different, into more interdependence, into transformation, into gratitude and justice and repair. These days, in this world and this moment that we are in, the purpose of church is clearer to me than ever before. The church must be a place where we can sustain and engage and strengthen our moral imaginations. It must be a place that nurtures and sustains and strengthens us in our spiritual practices that can help us to break the ties, the patterns that we have been a part of for generations as part of living in the United States, patterns that have called us into independence over interdependence, that have pitted us against one another instead of recognizing our shared humanity. Church has got to be a space where we can imagine and live into different ways of being, a place where we practice empathy over enmity, leaning into storytelling, so many stories told instead of relying on simple or single stories. This has to be a place where we shake off easy answers and reach instinctively for multiple perspectives and complexity that can help us imagine and create ethical and interdependent and just and generous ways of being together. We need moral imagination, the ability to imagine something different, grounded in shared values of justice and equity and transformation, grounded in shared values of pluralism and interdependence and generosity with love at the center. Moral imagination calls us to recognize where we are complicit in the ways of being, the ways of understanding the world and each other that are killing us and the planet. To recognize those places and then to imagine and step outside of them. It is possible to find ourselves stuck in the world of somebody else's imagination. someone else's imagination with all of its limitations and frameworks and rules. As a community, as individuals, we cannot lose our capacity to long for, to work for, to believe in something different. If we go back in time a bit, going back to 1885, the French diplomat Alexis de Tocqueville was warning us even then in his book, Democracy in America, that the ways of being, the patterns that were being set up here in America were dangerous. America's extreme form of individualism would cause people to feel, and these are his words now, would cause people to feel that they owe no man anything and hardly expect anything from anybody. They form the habit, he's talking about American patterns, they form the habit then of thinking of themselves in isolation and imagine their whole destiny is in their own hands. This setup, this lie that people are independent of one another and the earth, this lie that we are, as individuals, solely responsible for our own destiny, that we owe each other nothing and can expect nothing of each other in return. This way of thinking, these ways of being have been killing us for generations. What we need, author Robin Wall Kimmerer tells us, are acts of restoration. We need acts of restoration, she writes, not only for polluted waters and degraded lands, but also for our relationships with each other, our relationship to the world. We have to be able to imagine different ways of being, ways that strengthen our interdependence instead of our independence, ways that call us into relationship and practices of healing. So how do we do that? How do we do that here in this community of faith? Let me give you one possibility. A couple of weeks ago, an Indigenous member of our congregation, Amelia Marquez, reached out to ask if we might begin the practice of smudging in the sanctuary between services on Sundays. Smudging is a spiritual practice in many Indigenous communities that involves the burning of sacred medicines like sage or cedar or sweetgrass or tobacco, as a form of cleansing. This native practice of cleansing and clearing, of care and support, can be strengthening. We're so grateful, I'm so grateful that you are thinking about or helping us figure out how to bring that practice here into this faith community, your faith community, as a practice to teach and to share. It matters to imagine bringing this practice right into the spiritual heart of our community, into this shared sacred space. In this faith community that was founded in 1859, back when land was being actively stolen from the Dakota and the Ojibwe people. This community, I don't know what our part in that was or is still. There is much to be discovered, and it matters to bring a spiritual practice, to bring spiritual medicine right into the heart of this community. I have to admit, when this idea came forward, when Amelia brought it forward, I said yes right away. The symbolic and spiritual power of this invitation to shared practice felt right immediately. And then I took a couple of breaths, and it became clear to me pretty quickly that I and we needed to be thoughtful about how we were going to arrive to the place where Native and white, where Black and GLBTQAI+, where young and old, where brown and disabled, where financially secure and financially precarious siblings could share this practice in a meaningful, respectful, beneficial way. So just over a week ago, we sat down to talk. It was just 4 of us in that initial conversation, each of us bringing a mix of cultural backgrounds and identities. And these are just the ones that I think I know that we shared. We were Indigenous, white, transgender, female, male, Filipino, Mexican, first-generation immigrant, teacher, student, younger, older, transplant to Minnesota, lifelong resident of the state, just to name a couple of the identities I know about the 4 of us in that conversation. We began here in the sanctuary. Amelia taught us about the Indigenous cultural practice of smudging. And sometime soon in the near days, she'll be sharing those teachings with all of us who want to learn and practice together. I hope you will join in. It was a powerful experience for me. She taught us that there are particular plants, white sage, that are used for smudging when it's being practiced in a mixed group. This helped ease my mind and heart a little bit. She taught us how to move the smoke around us and why, about the importance of holding good intentions in our heart and mind in the practice. We shared this spiritual practice together, and it was only then that we really started to talk. It was after sharing practice that we shared our hopes for what might be possible in our community. Could we make this space together a place that is more welcoming for folks with Indigenous backgrounds? Could we make this space and community more welcoming for Dakota relatives? Could we learn about the history of harm that may be present in this community? Can we make a place where we can share in spiritual practice together? Can we make a space where we can recognize the shared values we may have in common, Unitarian, Universalist, and Indigenous tribes? How could we do this? I found myself in my own way leaning into the places I often do. Let's learn the history right away. Let's go to the hard part right away. Let's figure that out. And Amelia called me and us back in such powerful ways. As we began to imagine what it would look like to share the practice of smudging here as a larger community, Amelia brought us back right where we needed to be. Start with the medicine, she said. Start with the medicine and stay with the medicine. We are going to need it to be in relationship with one another, to be in conversation, to do the work of healing, to stay grounded in this world right now. Start with the medicine. Stay with the medicine. That is where we are. My hope is that as we stay with the medicine and start with the medicine, we will work together to make this hope real. Here in this sanctuary once a month, sharing the practice of smudging, led by our Indigenous siblings, learning to be in shared practice in authentic relationship together. Last week, Nico Van Ostren, the Cummins ministerial intern here, invited us to remember what we know, that these are hard times. These are hard times in different ways for so many of us. So what can we do? We can call in the ancestors, all of them. We can call in the gods and the spiritual practices. We can call in our relationships with beloved family and friends. We can reconnect to the earth. We can do all we can to ground ourselves in these days. We need each other. We cannot do this life alone. Thank goodness we don't have to. When I listen to the words that Joy Harjo has offered us, I hear the echo of Amelia's words and wisdom. Start with the medicine that can take so many different shapes. Put down what harms you, Harjo tells us. Go outside and take a breath. Remember that breath comes from all the winds and plants and earth. Exhale with gratitude and sing if you can do it. Acknowledge this earth that has been caring for you always. Find yourself in the midst of the long line that you have always been a part of, will always be a part of. This line that goes back before you were born and will exist long after you die. Each of us just one part in this mighty procession. Let the earth stabilize your insecure post-colonial jitters. Ask for and offer forgiveness. Trust the knowledge of your heart. Cleanse yourself with cedar and sage or other healing plant. Call in your ancestors. Call in your spirit. Call in a way that they will want to return. Rest and celebrate. Give it away. Help the next person find their way. Start with the medicine. Return to the medicine. Our spiritual practices, whichever you choose, can help us to interrupt the automatic movement into the patterns that are killing us. Our spiritual practices can interrupt those ways that are the dealings of death and invite us into the spaciousness of imagination, of possibility, of hope and healing. May we lean in and start with the medicine. May it be so. Amen. There are so many ways to be connected here, to be in relationship, which is the heart of how we will change the world and ourselves. If you're here in person, I invite you after the service downstairs to coffee and conversation in the social hall. If you are someone who has been considering whether or not to become a member of the church, there is a new member class offered on Tuesday evening. You can check in with Reverend Laura or go to our website to learn more. It's Community Dinner Week this Wednesday at 6 with breakout sessions and childcare afterwards. Please let us know you'll be coming so we can make enough food. We are so glad to have everybody together. And today, after the service at 1 o'clock, I hope you'll join us for a book event with author and activist Sherry Seifert in room 209. She'll be reading from her book, Ashes to Action, Finding Myself at the Intersection of the Minneapolis Uprising, as she shares with us about discovering together with Calvary Lutheran Church and the neighborhood what a faithful response has been to the moments of the last few years. There are so many ways to be connected. Let's find and remember that interdependence together. I invite you, as you're willing and able, to rise and to join hands if that feels comfortable to you. If not, that is just fine. We believe in consent here, enthusiastic consent, and we are connected whether we're holding hands or not. May we start? Oh, well, I'm going to pray a little bit, just once. All right. May we start with the medicine, friends. Whatever it is for you, may you find it and lean into it. Comfort, care, challenge, discomfort. Discomfort can be the guide sometimes. May we know our interdependence and interconnection and keep on leaning in to one another and this earth. May it be so. Amen.
We are going, heaven knows where we are going. We know it, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know it. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough. We'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know
Whoa, yeah, yeah. Go now in peace, friends.